Good morning. Oh boy. It is 5:28. So it's even earlier than um than it was yesterday morning. And I was up even later. So we'll see how this goes. Okay. This morning so I was all excited because I was just like, "Oh cool. I've got uh what was supposed to be last night's episode done and ready and good to go." And then we had a couple of team members come down sick. It happens. They're okay, but it's never fun. Sorry, cat's taken off. So, um, I did a not flashback, but a episode between the great, great grandmother, who looks 19, and the chosen one, her great grandson. And there's basically a whole bunch of family stuff that came out, like all the fun stuff. Um, but our um, character member who's playing an Irish goddess, oh, who's in chat? I just saw a little thing. It went bing. Morning, Bigfoot, Bjornson. Um, and so I really want our Irish goddess there for the Hodog episode because, let's be honest, she'll be handy, especially when I've got them as behemoths. So, um, and it's kind of helpful not having her around for the Jolene episode because she could just kind of the ghost. Uh, Whereas the boys are both in love with her, and so I'd like them have a chance to play this out. So, oh boy. So here we go. We'll try doing this live. Um, if I've got a whole bunch of notes here that I was working on yesterday for like backstory of what's going on with the team. Um, Jolene. Oh, morning, Union Pacific. I we live really close to the train tracks, but I love trains, so it's really cool. And I'm like, oh, there's engine 6730 again. Yeah. Um, and so I'm gonna come up with some cool powers for Jolene to basically uh, use against our team. Now, as far as I've got two team members in love with her, my spell slinger and my spooky. Uh, and yeah, I think one of the first things I'm going to give her is visions of the past. Um, and so the way I work powers is those are specialty things that only that entity can do. And I think visions of the past is gonna, as Graham really tries to tell me what to do. Um, I think she can. What I'll have her do is be able to give glimpses of her past or theirs. And so, depending on how I use that, I can reveal things about my player's backstory, or I can reveal things about her backstory. Um, and basically, that we're doing a murder mystery with a ghost. Um, it'll be helpful. So, chat is fun. think another one I wanted to have is A Woman Scorned. And what I think I'm going to have that to be it or be is that a character will become overcome by by Jolene's feelings. And so they'll be able to feel what she feels. And so if she gets really upset, which seems likely in this episode, feelings. I'm looking at getting music, so when there's these long, like, pauses of nothing or no train, you'll have something to listen to. I'm just trying to make sure that copyright, not gonna infringe on anybody's copyright. Um, let's see. I can spell incapacitated. Sure. Nope. No, I can't. There we go. And I'm gonna make that a just deciding what in the player handbook to roll to not get squished. Weird. It's going to be a weird roll. And I'm going to put a +1 hold on there for every time she attempts to do that. That way it gets harder and harder to escape that if she chooses to use it. And I'm going to give her obsession. And I just make these up as I go along. It's for my own notes. And obsession. So I'm gonna, with this, I'm gonna let them be able to choose one target. And then the other thing I really like about building episodes is then I have to get to know the handbooks better. So this one I'm going to have them real cool, and if they succeed, then they don't get affected by it. This is kind of my favorite part, is the monster build. So, and She's not going to be that strong. Pull her down to. Oops. Hello, weird little sign on my keyboard that I don't know. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can worry about the harm capacity. Well, I better do it now. We're just going to delete the table and put it back in. That just feels easier. Okay. I think another thing I'm going to do is when she gets to, just like in boss fights in games, video games where they get stronger, like they've got that last hurrah of that last wind. I'm gonna let Jolene have a last wind too, which means in order to succeed against her, you need at least. How tough? Don't want it to be impossible. We'll do +1. So all right. All right. So Jolene, at least the ghost in this world that I've got built are going to do more psychic damage. And make that harm 1. We're not gonna have poison, even though her. And then depending on how things go, I leave a lot of wiggle room. So in my head, I have a storyline that I would love to see happen, but I have a team of 4 other people with 4 unique, crazy, individually cool ideas, and so I want to make sure that they have the opportunity to play in the world. But I would love for her to inflict what her death felt like on someone else. But if they find a way to peacefully negotiate with Jolene, I'm not going to take that opportunity away from them. But if it turns into an out-and-out OK Corral shooting match, that's something else. So, I'm going to give her Song of the Lost. That sounds cool. And I have an idea of what that would be. And we'll have Lost Loves, Passions, and Heartache. Overwhelm a target. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Herd is something else. She can't do hand to hand. She's corporeal. Um, so the fun thing about Jolene is two of my characters in the campaign, two of the players. We decided in world building that they were both, the conflict that they had was they were both in love with this one girl, and then me and the others were like, and she's a ghost, and you don't know. So, um, yeah. Okay, armor. It was the 90s, you had to be there. Can't touch this. Weaknesses. Okay. She has them. So if they can find a family heirloom, and so those, that vision of the past, I like a specialty item to sometimes potentially aid as well as hurt um, the team. And because she was betrayed by love, we'll make the other weakness true love. Um, and true love doesn't just have to be romantic. If that's brotherly love, family love, um, you get outside of uh, the U.S. At least I don't know, or Europeans. I'm not sure, but like there's like oh, it is early. I'm gonna look up these definitions because it's gonna bother me. um, Ethos, Eros, and Pathos. Thank you, Google. Oh no, those are the modes of persuasion. Whoops, logical thinking, which is not what I'm doing. Eros, Philia, Agape, Store, Mania, Ludus, Pragma, and Volusia. Um, there are all these different types of love. Um, and it's not just romantic. And if it's a true form of it, that will distract her for a moment to give the team a chance to maybe do something about it. All right, Hodogs are not in this episode, which means we will get rid of. Okay. Which means we're down to this. Okay. So the NPCs are going to be a little different in this one. Um, because of visions of the past, and I think I'm just going to make kind of like an anniversary of someone's death and whatnot show up as well. We'll keep it interesting. Um, so So if you can think of a name for an NPC, that is, we got a really cool suggestion in chat last night on Monster of the Week, but I'm also like, that is a name in a very popular epic fantasy series. And if you see it, you're going to go. And I'm like, if it was something like Steve, we can get away with Steve, but can't get away with major super popular fantasy series name. Um, we're gonna put the old timer in. Sorry, this is my thinking face. All right. So So Jolene's lover betrays her for the family treasure. Um, I'm gonna say he killed her while she slept in the light. I need it still to be summer. Yeah, so we'll just do a full moon. The reason I want it to be a full moon is so that my players can wander around in the woods and still kind of be able to see where they're going. I'm going to just say that past debtors caught up with him. Okay, who else have I got here? Town old timer. So the town old timer is going to act as basically, you're in the 1800s, and this is early Seattle, and it's obvious you folks aren't from around here. Um, and that can be whatever we want. I'm going to put them in their 60s to 70s because old people are cool. So if you were playing this without the mouse storyline, your job would be to put the ghost to rest. That would be the main purpose of this. If you're like, I don't want to, if because we're doing an actual play, I wanted the ability to be able to have that cool overarching storyline, but still have contained mysteries. So that's where there's all the different things happening with Mal. And then there's the individual bits and pieces that they need to take care of. So and and then this is Jolene's mama. And kind of important information she'll have is what is in the cedar box. So she learned her love of reading. From her mother. And so, kind of a generational thing where Jolene's grandmother taught her mother to read, and kind of just that connection, that link from one family member to the next. Because initially, no one will know what's in the box. What's in the box? Anyway. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good about that. This will give the team, because we only do 2-hour sessions, this is more than enough for 2 hours. This could very easily be converted into a 4-hour session. Do need to work on the countdown. Alright. It is the anniversary of Jolene's death. Well, we need something to happen. Okay. Bodies are starting to show up on the beaches. near Eileen's house. And she told me where she lived. And now I need to jump over to my map of Seattle. I do love Seattle. Okay, so I want to say it's Bainbridge Island. There's a national. Yeah, so I have a character because she's. Yeah, her place backs up onto the Olympic National Park. Yeah. So that's where. Um, so, not the weirdest death that I've started a campaign with. Bodies are starting to show up on the beaches of Olympic National Park. Book pages are found strewn around them, but just weird enough and close enough to where a known ghost is for them to ask questions. Um, I know Jolene's doing that. Um, so this one isn't going to be catastrophic end of the world. Most of them are like, and all of humanity will be destroyed if you don't resolve this. Ba, ba, ba. Okay. So during the day, bodies are discovered. In the shadows, the anniversary of Jolene's death day is beginning to play out. So depending on when Visions of the Past gets activated, it will affect what the team sees. So I need kind of two more, like a pinch point and a major point. And I'm going to basically have I think I'm I'm going to have basically anyone stuck in Jolene's memories in purgatory. They basically have to relive that day over and over and over. It's not a bad day, but it's not a day I'd want to relive if I was them. Um, and then say unseen reveal and pull cool. Yeah. I love giving folks a chance to name NPCs. I mean, I'll have backup names if I really need them in my head that I'll kind of boink. Um, but I love one of the things I really love about Brambleberry games is how much engagement she encourages from the community. So what have I got left here? Okay, a prologue, mystery concept, and hook. Cool. I'll have this done before it's due. It's not like I have self-imposed due dates on this. Because for whatever reason... Okay. Okay. So the real proper hook on this one: solve the mystery of the drowned bodies is very simple. That's not exactly a way to hook a team in. So oh, I forgot. Around them. Okay, so in this world, if you get into a battle with a ghost, the psychic damage will leave like a faint sheen. Kai has a couple of these scars where, like, if you know what to look for and they move their skin, they'll be like this kind of purple, like light lavender that kind of glistens. Okay. Now I can't remember the name of... I think it was Olympic National Park that I was working in. Yeah. That's the hook that I'll turn into a prologue. Either that or I'll do a little bit about Jolene. We'll see. Prologue or mystery concept. I find when I'm running a campaign that it just helps to have all of this done, because then it's cemented in my brain and it's not going anywhere. So even though I might not look at this while I'm running the campaign, but it's all there. It's all been reinforced. So, and now I'm going to take this 4 pages and summarize it into a paragraph. Like you do. I'm going to take a break from this for a while. And I'm going to open something else. So if you're a writer, because it's so quiet, I'm gonna take the chance, and I'm just reframing this other screen real quick. Oops. Oh, random physics, I wish. 4 pages into a single paragraph. Sounds like a font size problem. Summary. So when you work on book jackets, so when I'm not doing game design, in fact, this is what this other thing is here, I write. And so right now, this is like 19,000 words. And when you finish a book, they want you to take this entire world that you've been working on expanding and building and making super interesting into a paragraph, a book blurb that is interesting and engaging, but doesn't reveal too much, but hooks the reader enough that they want to buy the book. And book blurbs are the most interesting thing, because one, you're using it to try and sell the book and not reveal too much, and just but really it's, can you tell me what your book is about? And going from there, what do I want to work on today? So this is book 2 in the Eden's Outcast series that I'm working on. So much of this will probably change that I don't care if you see it. If you don't want spoilers for the book, then yeah, I understand. But if you're a writer, feel free to, join me. I'm figuring once I figure out how to do the music, I'll do writing sprints. So, or just, you can sit here and write if that's your thing, or work on something else. I know, random physics, you might be onto something with that font size problem. Okay. Yeah, let's deal with Kane and Sherry. So this scene I'm working on here is between Lilith's older brother Kane let me try and do that justice, random physics. In a world where monsters are not your friends. In a world, a scorned woman seeks her revenge. Except when someone reads the back of my book cover, I can't convince them to, do that voice in their head. And for Monster of the Week, like when I when I'm the keeper, I can do fun stuff. I can do voices. I can add those little bits and pieces that make a campaign, at least for me, if I were playing, interesting. Um, but if you're just reading the page and I'm not there, like going, hey, hey, this is another fun thing you can do, and geeking out about monsters or, Seattle or anything like that with you, it's a little harder. And it's why summary is important. It's your voice when you're not there. But that's a fun voice to do. In a world where Nicodemus still hasn't been fed, but he's lying because I fed him when I woke up. My cat. Oh, my cat. I'll tell you a cat story. So the other morning, woke up and my cat was like in my face doing the random. He doesn't bite, but he nips and licks, and he has one of those sandpaper tongues. And so, like, on my arm, on my, like, chin. And I'm like, okay, fine. It's 5 a.m. Fine, I'll get up. And so, went to the kitchen and, got his food, put his food out, and was working on some other stuff. And it was just one of those I'm so stinking tired days that I was working on something, I fell asleep on the recliner. And then that little turkey goes back into the bedroom, like, and according to my SO, is walking up and down him, and then, like, licks his face and nips him until he gets up and feeds him again. And my John saw me asleep on the recliner. I'm like, oh, I'll do something nice and feed the cat for Erica. And, cat sitting there pleased as punch because I got myself fed twice. And I woke up and was like, oh, hey, I fed Neko, so don't believe his lies. And he stopped and looked at me, and I looked at him, and I just knew, the cat had done something. Nicodemus, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, I adopted a toddler who will basically be a toddler forever. But I love him. I love my little jerk. Okay. So this scene hasn't 100 and... Yes! Yeah. Cats are awesome. You'll appreciate this random physics. We built our cat a little kitty highway. We have like this space up near the ceiling that we're just not using. So got a plank of wood and some of those brackets, and he goes up there, sits up there, looks down on us peasants, judging us. So yeah, I think I know what I'm going to do here. And that's the Amtrak. We don't get as many passenger trains at the moment. I'm going to show this. See. Okay. So, in this world, spoiler alert, angels are not good guys. Um, there was an event that happened. Haha, no spoilers there. I mean, there are spoilers, but I didn't reveal them. I'll get good at this. Um, and what happened was basically there was a cutoff from basically any external sources. And so anything trapped in the mortal realm is really basically over time altered and changed into a monstrous form of what it should be or what it was meant to be. Um, so, angels that were trapped in the mortal realm have been trying to figure out how to open back up the gates of heaven, and it has not been going well for them. And Sherry is the current commander of the Legion, or at least those actively trying to do something about it. There are a couple of angels who have managed to maintain who they are, and but they have basically completely cloistered themselves, because for the folks who were in this realm, there's a bit of a scuffle over what should be done. So, let's make this mean. And so in this scene, we've got a cherubim, Sherry. Oh, that's also a spoiler. Oops. If you read book one, she's there for a moment, but you have to know who you're looking for. I do that a lot. I will hide things and characters and plot points in plain sight. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I should make that a little bit more obvious. Well, not plot points. Plot points better be not obvious, but you better be able to see those. But different characters and monstrosities and things, hints about future books, always in my books. Always, always, always. It's one of the things I love best when writing. So yeah, if you're a writer, feel free to write with me for a minute. My house is still asleep. I'm gonna have to start waking people up in a minute or two. So I was working on the Jolene Bell episode, but I'm gonna let that sit for a moment. I know, me too. One author who I really enjoy, who is basically like, here is your foreshadow, and here is all the hints about them, is Brandon Sanderson. Um, it If you're one of those people where you're watching a show and you can basically instantly go, this person did it, this is the villain, have they revealed that this is what they are yet? I fall in that category. And it it was the first time in forever that I was reading a book series, and it was so cleverly hidden that when so this was Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, that the first three, and when it was revealed, this isn't a spoiler, but when it was revealed who the Hero of Ages was, I was just like floored, because I didn't. And then when you remember all the different things back in the book, you're like, oh, 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 oh. And it was beautifully done. It was probably the moment I became a Sanderson fan. I'd read other books of his, but that was like, oh, that was clever. I like that. um, and cameos. Um, so one of the things my little publishing house does, because if you like that, oh, I remember that guy. Um, in book one, characters talk about events that happen. Like one of Lilith, who's the main character, one of her exes is an angel, and he's got this kind of very paladin like companion that's been tasked with kind of keeping him in line. And every time he wants to get on his nerves, he can just go, "You ended up naked on an iceberg." No explanation in the book. But the reactions are, yeah, that happened. And he's not happy. Gabe is not happy about it. And then between book one and book two, there are six kind of novella left stories that have been written. And one of them is all about how Gabe ended up naked on the iceberg. And so, like, those six stories are kind of different inside jokes from book one. There's also a little bit more of the reveal of what the villain in book two was up to behind the scenes and why. So if you like that behind the scenes kind of thing, which I love knowing. Here was the machinations in the background. So, Random Physics, I'm so glad you're in chat today. It's so cool to have you here. And like I mentioned, this will get edited and changed. You'll be able to see my terrible grammar, and occasionally brackets will come up with cool name here. Um, yep, agreed, Random. It all gets sorted out in the editing process. That's why it's there. I was taking one course. Well, I had a really cool situation to sit in a master's level course, even though I wasn't a student on that campus. And I was really grateful because there was a lot of really cool information. And when you're writing, you just need to put it on the page. And then when you're done with that, you need to lock away that sweet, gentle spirit that is a writer and let the editor out and just like rip apart, do everything you can to make it the best you can. It's really difficult though to make that shift because here's my beautiful baby that I've put so much work into. Yeah, this scene that you spent 3 months on, it's gone. That's why a good set of critique group writers, like a good critique group, is a godsend. A good pro dev is a godsend if you need it. A line editor or copy editor that you can trust is magical. And a good one is worth every penny. Yeah. And it won't always be writing and game design on the channel. I'm just finishing up an overlay and I'll be doing a Portal playthrough, which will be fun because I love GLaDOS. Oh, yeah. Um, I'm not going to try and sing right now because my voice is kind of burp, but Still Alive is one of my favorite songs. And Wheatley in Portal 2. Oh, poor little Wheatley, but not poor little Wheatley. And how are you? I am a potato. I'm good, except for the fact that I am a potato. we have creatures stirring in other rooms. So I am going to have to jump off and take care of other things. A big shout out to Bigfoot Bjornson and Random Physics for coming and hanging out with me this morning. Got a lot done. Kind of liking this whole getting up early and hanging out with folks while working. So, probably do it again tomorrow. Oh no. Well, like, Random Physics, I'm sorry you have to sacrifice yourself to Raw today. Maybe like SPF 10,000. Ugh. But I hope you have a good one and you take care as well. So. But yeah. Alright. Maybe I'll come back and do this again tomorrow. Bye, everybody.